Righto. So we got top 10 tips on researching rental properties. So here we go. Look for where you can be innovative. With properties you already own or with properties you are looking to buy, assess the potential for add-ons to give you more income from the property. What can you do to increase your rental return? How can you bring in more income? Granny flat, storage facility, dual occupancy. Think about your rental properties and brainstorm ideas on what you can do to increase the yield on the property. Sometimes you have to think a little bit alternatively as to how you can manufacture that increase. How can you make it or how can you create it? What you cannot do now still may be possible in the future with zoning changes. Research your rents properly. Magazines such as Australian Property Investor and or New Zealand Property Investor are a good source of information. They're fairly current stats at the back. Just because a town has given 15% rental return over the last 5 years doesn't necessarily mean it's going to continue to do that in the future. It might be 2 or 3 or 6% depending on any number of circumstances. Generally though, there has been a recent downturn in rental return across the board. Be realistic in your assessment of what the yield is now and in the foreseeable future, comparing properties. When comparing one property with the next, you need to weigh up all the pros and cons. None of us has a crystal ball, so we need to rely on the numbers. Property investing is ultimately a numbers game. Do up a spreadsheet for each property so some comparison is easier. List your buying price, your outlays, such as insurance, renovations, refurbishments, etc. And then look at your projected income from rent for each property. If you crunch the numbers carefully, you should be able to get a more black and white picture of which property will work best in your favour. Always consider your return on investment and compare this to the return that you might also get in other investment areas. Maintenance and return. There are some real dives in Sydney that you're going to have just as many maintenance issues with as you might have on a place in Broken Hill. It's all relative to the maintenance on the property, not the area. It's going to keep rental properties at a well-maintained level and be active in making sure that each one of your properties is at a good level of maintenance to ensure better return to you. Keeping your rental property well maintained also brings in a better class of tenant and reduces your risk of litigation because of negligence should an accident happen. Very often the upfront tax-deductible cost of new carpets and paint is negated by the increase in rent and also the ultimate value of the property when it comes to revaluation or resale. Check sustainability. In this economy, we are seeing a lot of fluctuation, meaning you need to look at the issue of sustainability. Some towns are going to skyrocket. Other towns are going to get hit very hard over the next 3 to 5 years because of resource prices dropping. This must have been end of mining boom. There are many factors that will affect a lot of regional towns from a house price perspective as well as a yield perspective. You need to be aware that that's a consequence of buying in some of these areas. Mining towns are a great example as they can often give a town extremely strong growth. But before buying, ensure that you do your research on the ore body being mined, its future and its demand in the global market. Or you could subtly find that you own a duplex in a ghost town in rural nowhere. It's not being said not to do it, just understand what you're doing because there's still fantastic opportunities in a lot of these places. You just need to be smart about it. Look for settlement rebates. An associate of mine found a property via the internet on the coast in central Queensland. The figures looked very good. He'd actually agreed on a price, went through all the ROIs and went and looked at the property before the finance clause was due. And there was a little bit of repair and maintenance that needed to be done, just some general stuff. It was in a reasonable state of repair. Because of this repair work to be done, he negotiated a $15,000 rebate upon settlement to reimburse him for the costs of any outstanding maintenance that may occur. The purchase price of the property was $220,000. He then negotiated because of the purchase. He negotiated 50. Settlement rebates. Crisis and screen figures look good. Actually, agreement price. Went through the ROIs. When looked at the before. Yep. Because of this, he negotiated a $15,000 rebate upon settlement to reimburse him for the costs or any outstanding maintenance that may occur. The purchase price of the property was $220,000 and negotiated a $15,000 rebate, but the bank actually went through and valued the property at $220,000, so he still got a 90% loan at that stage. Chuffed. He ended up paying $205,000 after rebate, and he had a $197,000 loan because the bank was happy with the valuation. Make sure that you research and look online or to your accountant financial strategist. See what settlement rebates you may be able to negotiate. I don't know that I understand what that means. Anybody, when inspecting a property and looking at those things that may fail in the next 2 to 5 years, should look to have it rebated or fixed before they buy it or allow for it in the purchase price up to negotiation with the owner. Manufactured cash cows. Manufactured cash cows exist in both residential and commercial markets and are generally easier in the commercial market. They are available on either new or existing purchases. Manufactured cash cows are where all the fun is had. The idea is to think outside the square to find creative methods of adding value to your investment. Strata tile subdivision, room by room rentals. They may not, however, be immediate cash cows. It's always a good idea, as with any investment, to do all your necessary due diligence, cost-benefit analysis, feasibility study on each strategy to establish your return on investment, ROI, for all value-adding activities. Look for multiple income streams. Converting a property to a dual occupancy, upstairs and downstairs, or room-by-room rentals is a fantastic way of increasing rental return on a property. The rental return is higher on properties with more than one income stream because you have a number of rent-paying tenants. It also insures against total vacancy rates. Many clients focus on purchasing properties that have multiple income streams or are easily converted to multiple income stream properties. Look for loan defaults. These can also be a good source of not only positive cash flow but growth deals as well. They're a good strategy because you're buying in at lower than real values. Lenders will repossess an asset after a loan default and look for a quick sale, meaning you'll be able to rent it out in normal values to then yield positive cash flow. Ensure that you do your due diligence on the property, as there could be reason for the mortgagee defaulted on the payment. Choose something that suits your investor profile. No matter what strategy is employed to accumulate passive income, it must be one that suits your lifestyle, risk tolerance, portfolio, and personality. This is why self-empowerment and knowledge is so important. No one is going to be more diligent, more persistent, and more attuned to your wants, goals, and desires than you are. Must be one that suits your... Yeah. Cool. That's that one for today.